Yeah, you're tuned to Craic with Mac. Great to have your company this evening on the show. And I want to just thank all of the people who contacted me during the week for all of the things that come to mind. The people who wanted to know about touring around Ireland. And I give them a few ideas where to go. And I'm so glad that they actually took up my advice. They contacted me the other day and they've been to Bangor in Northern Ireland and Ballywalter, and they've also been around to Strangford Lough. There's some lovely spots there. In Bombridge Town, you know, there's some lovely places there too. Northern Ireland is many times overlooked by many people who go there, and it is a beautiful spot. Not just because I come from Northern Ireland, but it is quite beautiful. I'm going to play you a song first up on the show this evening, and it's a nice one from a band by the name of the Dubliners. And when the Dubliners were going for 40 years in the business, a lot of their ethos was centred around Dublin, and they made, I guess, a name for themselves, calling themselves the Dubliners. We're just going to focus a wee bit about Dublin on the beginning of the show, the capital of Ireland. And a lot of stuff has gone through over the years in Dublin. History, of course, the uprising in 1916, and the poets and the writers that entrenched themselves into the heart of Dublin. After this lovely piece here, Dublin in the Royal Times, featuring Luke Kelly on vocals with the Dubliners, I want to play for you a poem called Dublin Made Me, and it was written by Donagh MacDonagh. And Donagh MacDonagh has a wonderful history. He was the son of the proclamation of the Irish Republic, Thomas MacDonagh. And when Donagh MacDonagh was 4 years of age, his father was executed for his part in the uprising. And Thomas MacDonagh was actually always talked about by his talkative and smiling manner. He was often seen wheeling his son Donagh around Dublin in a pram, which was, unheard of at the time for fathers to be doing such a thing, and remained a very strange sight. Of course, these days, it's common to see fathers wheeling around their sons or daughters in prams, but back then in the 20s or the turn of the century, it was very, very rare to see that. Donagh became a barrister in his life, eventually made district justice, probably because he was orphaned as the son of the signatory of the Irish Proclamation of the Republic, and he had special knowledge of the law as well. His vocation as a poet and the appointment as a DJ seemed to have proved more or less incompatible to the number of poems which had been inconsiderable when he died in 1968. So we're going to have a listen to Dublin Made Me, read by Colin Farrell, superstar actor, first Irish actor to make it into the Shakespeare Theatre Company. Played many roles in the Shakespeare plays before going to Hollywood and making his name there. He'll be reading the piece, Dublin Made Me. And following that, we might have a track from the Pogues, Shane MacGowan and the Boys, and Dirty Old Town. And then we might, I think we'll have another song centred on Dublin, possibly something from maybe the Dubliners again. Just a wee focus. I've been to Dublin, as I say, a couple of times. And I remember on New Year's Eve, I was busking on a corner, and this huge guy, must have been about 55 years, maybe 60 years old, 6.5 foot tall and about 3 foot wide nearly. And he'd just come up and he gave me this hug, nearly crushed me, but he gave me this hug. And I looked at him and he says, "I love you." And I just kept busking. That's Dublin. The heart of Dublin is just incredible. Okay, let's have a listen to now the Dubliners, and we'll just focus a wee bit on Dublin, beginning of the show. Thanks for your company this evening, wherever you are, in a bar, in a car, having a bit of R&R, and R, wherever you are. Thanks for joining me this evening on the show.
Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I'll remember Dublin city in the rare old times. Raised on songs and stories, heroes of renown, the passing tales and the glories that once was Dublin town. The hallowed halls and houses, the haunting children's rhymes, that once was Dublin city in the rare old times. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I'll remember Dublin city in the rare old times. My name it is Sean Dempsey, as Dublin as could be, born hard and late in Pimlico, in a house that ceased to be. By trade I was a cooper, lost out to redundancy, like my house that fell to progress, my trade's a memory. And I courted Peggy Dignan, as pretty as you please, a rogue and child of Mary, from the rebel liberties. I lost her to a student chap with skin as black as coal, when he took her off to Birmingham, she took away my soul. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I'll remember Dublin city in the rare old times. The years have made me bitter, the gargle dims me brain, 'cause Dublin keeps on changing and nothing seems the same. The pillar and the Met have gone, the Royal long since pulled down, as the grey unyielding concrete makes a city of my town. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I'll remember Dublin city in the rare old times. Fare thee well, sweet Anna Liffey, I can no longer stay and watch the new glass cages that spring up along the quay. My mind's too full of memories, too old to hear new chimes. I'm a part of what was Dublin in the rare old times. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I'll remember Dublin city in the rare old times. me in the rain.
This is Dublin Made Me by Donna McDonough. Dublin made me, and no little town, with the country closing in on its streets, the cattle walking proudly on its pavements, the jobbers, the gombeen men and the cheats, devouring the fair day between them, a public house to 100 men, and the teacher, the solicitor and the bank clerk in the hotel bar drinking for 10. Dublin made me, not the secret Putcheen still, the raw and hungry hills of the west, the lean road flung over profitless bog where only a snipe could nest, where the sea takes its tithe of every boat. Bawneen and Craic have no allegiance of mine, nor the cute, self-deceiving talkers of the south, who look to the east for a sign. The soft and dreary Midlands with their tame canals wallow between sea and sea, remote from adventure, and northward, a far and fortified province crouches under the lash of arid censure. I disclaim all fertile meadows, all tilled land, the evil that grows from it and the good, but the Dublin of old statutes, this arrogant city, stirs proudly and secretly in my blood.
I met my love by the gasworks wall, dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town. Clouds are drifting across the moon. Cats are prowling on their beat. Springs a girl from the streets at night. Dirty old town, dirty old town. Siren from the docks, saw a train set the night on fire. I smelled the spring on the smoky wind. Dirty old town, dirty old town. I'm gonna make me a picture box, shining steel, tempered in the fire. I'll chop you down like an old dead tree. Dirty old town, dirty old town. I met my love by the gasworks wall, dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town.
Shane McCann and the Pogues and Dirty Old Town. There's a lot of songs about Dublin. Of course, one that comes to mind is Molly Malone, of course, a very favourite song from many people from Dublin. One of my favourite songs too, Molly Malone, and Dublin's First City. We're going to have a listen to that from the Dubliners next up. But before that, I'd like to present to you a piece of poetry written by Brendan Behan, the Jackeen's Lament for the Blaskets, which was translated from the Gaelic by Donogh MacDonagh, the previous poet. Brendan Behan's words were in Gaelic. It's going to be read in English by Senator David Norris. David Norris is a politician, academic, and a scholar. He is a performer and a gay rights campaigner. As a senator, he represents Trinity College, and he is known for his work on a range of controversial issues, let's put it that way. He's going to be reading this piece from Brendan Behan, a writer of Republican stature. Brendan Behan, over the years, served time in prison for his operation services to the Republican movement, and he was a notary in Dublin. Used to have people follow him around with notebooks, waiting for him to drop a famous quote. One of his quotes, they're that hungry they'd eat their young. And they wrote that down and they commented. Brendan Behan said, times are that hard that that rough that they'd eat their young. Brendan Behan was born in 1923 and he passed away in 1964. Still a young man. Author and revolutionary, Behan was in and out of prison life for most of his life for his activities, as I was saying, with the IRA. And he had been known to put together some lovely pieces like The Borstal Boy and Confessions of an Irish Rebel. We're going to have a listen to this piece translated into the English language by Donogh MacDonagh. And following this, we'll have Molly Malone, and that's from the Dubliners.
Jackeen's Lament for the Blaskets, translated by Donogh MacDonagh. The sea will be under the sun like an empty mirror, no boat under sail, no sign of a living sinner, and nothing reflected but one golden eagle, the last, on the edge of the world beyond the lonely Blaskets. The sun will be setting, the shadows of night dispersing, as the rising moon shines down through the sea-cold night cloud. Her long, bare fingers stretched down to the empty earth and the houses fallen and ruined and broken apart. The only sounds, the hush of the birds' soft feathers skimming over the water, returning safe and together, and the wind as it sighs and softly swings the half-door, mourning a hearth that is cold for evermore.
In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone, as she wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so were her father and mother before, and they both wheeled their barrow streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. And her ghost wheels her barrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
You're tuned to Craic with Mac, and that was the Dubliners and Molly Malone. Thanks for your company on the programme. Well, we're going to have another piece of poetry next up in the programme entitled Death of an Irish Woman, written by Michael Harnett. Michael Harnett, born in Derry. Beg your pardon, born in Limerick. He lived in Dublin for many, many years. Michael passed away in 1999. He was born in 1944 and had quite a considerable collection of poems that he wrote, including Anatomy of a Cliché, The Old Hag, and also Gypsy Ballads, Farewell to England, and various other pieces. This one here, Death of an Irish Woman, is read by Theo Dargan, himself a poet and an author, scriptwriter, documentary and broadcaster, born in Cork, 53, published some works over the years, and including The Ordinary House of Love. But Death of an Irish Woman is the piece we'll have a listen to, and following that we're going to have a song, and the song I'd like to play for you is the ballad The Floor of Maharali from John Whelan and Friends. Nice little tune, portrays such a beautiful imagery in the song. So before we have a listen to that, we're going to have a listen to the piece of poetry for your pleasure. Coming up next, The Death of an Irish Woman.
Ignorant, in the sense she ate monotonous food and thought the world was flat, and pagan, in the sense she knew the things that moved at night were neither dogs nor cats but pookas and dark-faced men, she nevertheless had fierce pride. But sentenced in the end to eat thin, diminishing porridge in a stone-cold kitchen, she clenched her brittle hands around a world she could not understand. I loved her from the day she died. She was a summer dance at the crossroads. She was a card game where a nose was broken. She was a song that nobody sings. She was a house ransacked by soldiers. She was a language seldom spoken. She was a child's purse full of useless things.
Pleasant summer's morning, when all the flowers were springing up, nature was a-dawning, and the wee birds sweetly singing. Oh, I met my Maharali, with admiration I did gaze upon that blue-eyed maiden. Oh, Adam wasn't half so much pleased when he met Eve in Eden. Oh, her skin was like the lily white that grows in yonder valley. Oh, she's the queen and my heart's delight. She's the flower of Maharali. Oh, her yellow hair in ringlets crown, her shoes wear Spanish leather. Oh, her bonnet with blue ribbons strung, her scarlet cap and feather. Oh, like Venus bright she did appear, my charming blue-eyed Sally. Oh, she's the one that I love dear. She's the flower of Maharali. Oh, I hope the day will surely come when we'll join hands together. Oh, 'tis then I'll bring my darling home, in spite of wind and weather. Oh, and let them all say what they will, and let them reel and rally. Oh, for I shall wed the girl I love, the flower of Maharali. Oh.
Beautiful hunting song from John Whelan and Friends, The Flower of Maharali. Next up from the Sweet Liberty album is Cara Dillon and the Green Shores of Erin. She's quite a talented lady from Derry, and she's an Irish folk singer first and foremost, and joined the supergroup Equation before she got a record deal with Warner's music company after leaving the band. Under the name of Polar Star, she associated and collaborated with Sam Lakeman, and she had her first release album, Cara Dillon, which featured traditional songs and 2 original songs. Was kind of unexpected at the time, with her background in some folk traditions. Her second album is this one, Sweet Liberty, came out in 2003, and it went into the Irish charts and also on the UK indie albums charts. And in 2004, she received the Meteor Irish Music Award for the Best Irish Female. And her third album, After the Morning, was released in 2006, and she's had another great opening track with Never in a Million Years, which got a lot of airplay. But we'll have a listen to this one here from Cara. She's a beautiful singer, and I think well worth having a listen to. Cara Dillon from Sweet Liberty, for your pleasure.
Oh, draw near each young lover, give ear to my story that bears my sad mournful tale. Come and join me in chorus and lend me your pity whilst I my misfortune bewail. The grief of my poor heart no tongue can describe. glows. My cheeks are now pale, they once bloomed like a rose. And it's all for a young man whom I do suppose is now far from sweet air and the green. Now when we were children, we walked out together along the green meadows so neat. And although we were childish, we loved one another whilst gathering the wild berry sweet. It was to sweet Garva where we were sent to school. He was first in his class and correct in each rule. And I cheerfully walked home by Kinnacle with the flower of sweet air in the green. Oh, his head on my breast, and he used to repose at each evening under the shade. A song in my praises my darling composed, and he styled me the cool dairy maid. At the time I denied him, I died for his sake. It was little I thought my denial he'd take. Oh, but my own misfortune, I made a mistake when he left me on Erin Green.
Cara Dillon and Aaron the Green there from the album Sweet Liberty. A great songwriter from Derry is called Phil Coulter, who wrote some wonderful songs for people like Elvis Presley. My boy, Crystal Clear was the sound of Phil Coulter when he first emerged into the Eurovision Song Contest with two winning songs. One was for Sandy Shaw, Puppet on a String, and the other song was Congratulations for Cliff Richard. And he went on to write some beautiful love songs and songs of the time of his city, Derry, when the Troubles had erupted in Northern Ireland. He penned a song called The Town I Love So Well. Many people have recorded the song. We'll have a listen to that next up on the show for your pleasure. This is the Dubliners' version of Phil Coulter's wonderful traditional piece about Derry, The Town I Love So Well.
The gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the smell. Going home in the rain, running up the dark lane, past the jail and down in so many, many ways. In the town I loved so well. In the early morning, the shirt factory horn called women from Craic, the moor and the bog, while the men on the dole played a mother's role, fed the children and then trained the dog. And when times got tough, there was just about enough, but they saw it through without complaining. For deep inside was a burning pride in the town I loved so well. There was music there in the dairy air, like a language that we all could understand. I remember the day that I earned my first pay, when I played in a small pickup band. There I spent my youth, and to tell you the truth, I was sad to leave it all behind me. For I'd learned about life, and I'd found a wife in the town I loved so well. But when I returned, how my eyes have burned to see how a town could be brought to its knees by the armored cars and the bombed out bars and the gas that hangs on to every breeze. Now the army's installed by that old gas yard wall, and the damned barbed wire gets higher and higher. With their tanks and their guns, oh my God, what have they done to the town I loved so well? Now the music's gone, but they carry on, for their spirit's been bruised, never broken. They will not forget, but their hearts are set on tomorrow and peace once again. For what's done is done, and what's won is won, and what's lost is lost and gone forever. I can only pray for a bright, brand new day in the town I love.
The Dubliners, and the classic written by the one and only Phil Coulter from Derry. Next up on the programme is a piece of poetry written by a world-class poet, Seamus Heaney, born in Derry and passed away just recently. Seamus Heaney was born in 1939 as the eldest member of a family which would eventually contain 9 children. His father, he carried on some work on a small farm, and it was about 50 acres there in Derry in Northern Ireland, and his father's real commitment was to the cattle, selling and the dealing of cattle. There was something very congenital to Patrick Heaney about the cattle dealer's way of life, to which he was introduced by the uncles who had cared for him after the early death of his mother. So, and his father, both parents died at a young age, and the poet's mother, she come from the McCann family. Connections were all around that name. So Patrick grew up in the country, and he had a Nobel Prize that he had secured. Irish playwright, poet, translator. He received that Nobel Prize of Literature in 1995. Among his best known works is The Death of a Naturalist. And we're going to have a listen to a piece that he wrote called The Requiem for the Croppies. And following that, we're going to have a listen to The Girl from Derry again, Cara Dillon, and a lovely one from the album Sweet Liberty, Farewell of an Irish Immigrant. And following that, we'll have a piece of poetry then from James Simmons, another poet from Derry, called Claudy, the piece, and it's read by John Hume, a Labour MP from Derry. And John was born in 1937 and was elected to Stormont on the Independent Party in 1969, and he went on to become a member of the SDLP party, serving as the deputy leader. And then among his small and great achievements were the contributions to bringing about the IRA ceasefire, and awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1998 along with David Trumbull. So he will be reading the piece written by James Simmons called Claudy. So first, a piece of poetry from Seamus Heaney, and that's read by Tommy Makem. Tommy was the front man for the Clancy Brothers, and Tommy had written hundreds of songs, folk songs, and some wonderful works like The Four Green Fields. So we'll have a listen to this one, Requiem for the Croppies, and then the Farewell to an Immigrant from Sweet Liberty album with Cara Dillon. Thanks again for joining me this evening. Lovely to have your company on the show. And wherever you are out there, I hope you're enjoying the music and the poetry this evening.
Requiem for the Croppies by Seamus Heaney. The pockets of our great coats full of barley. No kitchens on the run, no striking camp. We moved quick and sudden in our own country. The priest lay behind ditches with the tramp. A people hardly marching, on the hike. We found new tactics happening each day. We'd cut through reins and rider with the pike and stampede cattle into infantry, then retreat through hedges where cavalry must be thrown. Until, on Vinegar Hill, the fatal conclave. Terraced thousands died, shaking scythes at cannon. The hillside blushed, soaked in our broken wave. They buried us without shroud or coffin. And in August, the barley grew up out of the grave.
Farewell to old Ireland, the land of my childhood, which now and forever I am going Farewell to the shores where the shamrock is growing. It's the bright spot of beauty and the home of the brave. I think on its valleys with fond admiration, though never again its bright hills will I see. I'm bound for to cross the wide swelling ocean in search of fame and fortune and of sweet liberty. Our ship at the present lays in Derry Harbour to bear us away across the wide swelling sea. May heaven be her companion and grant her fair breezes till we reach the green fields of America. It's hard to be forced from the land that we live in, our houses and farms, all obliged for to sell, to wander alone among Indians and strangers, to find some sweet spot where our children might dwell. Our artists are farmers, our tradesmen are leaving to seek for employment far over the sea, where they'll get their riches with care and with industry. There's nothing but hardship at home if you stay. Let's cheer up your spirits, you lads and you lassies. There's gold for the digging and lots of it too. A health to the heart that is courage to ramble by
Claudie. The sperrins surround it. The Faughan flows by. At each end of Main Street, the hills and the sky. The small town of Claudie at ease in the sun. Last July in the morning, a new day begun. How peaceful and pretty if the moment could stop. Michael Hinney is straightening things in his shop, and his wife is outside serving petrol, and then a girl takes a cloth to a big window pane. And McCluskey is taking the weight of his feet, and McClelland and Miller are sweeping the street, and delivering milk at the Beaufort Hotel. Young Temple's enjoying his first job quite well. And Mrs. McLaughlin is scrubbing her floor, and Auntie Hone's crossing the street to a door, and Mrs. Brown, looking around for her cat, goes off up an entry. What's strange about that? Not much, but before she comes back to the road, that strange car parked outside her house will explode, and all of the people I've mentioned outside will be waiting to die, or already have died. An explosion too loud for your eardrums to bear, and young children squealing like pigs in the square, and all faces chalk white and streaked with bright red, and the glass and the dust and the terrible dead. For an old lady's legs are ripped off, and the head of a man's hanging open, and still he's not dead. He is screaming for mercy, and his son stands and stares, and then suddenly, quick, disappears. And Christ, little Catherine Aiken is dead, and Mrs. McLaughlin is pierced through the head. Meanwhile, to Dungiven, the killers have gone, and they're finding it hard to get through on the phone.
You tuned to Craic with Mac on 107.1 on your FM band. My name is Paul McCann, the host of the show. That was Passage of Time, that piece. And that was from the album John Whelan and Friends at the Celtic Crossroads. Next up on the programme is a piece of poetry by Belfast poet Mead McCann, Four Voices Without an Instrument, and it's read by Paul Brady. Paul Brady has been the forefather of music in Ireland, from both traditional, contemporary and in between. His merging from the traditional music through folk and then into the contemporary scene was a growth in the songwriting skills of Paul Brady from Athlone. For over 40 years now, his songs have been recorded by many well-known artists, including Rowan Keaton and Cher. Recently, he was given the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Irish record music industry. Mead McCann, a poet from Belfast, and this piece is quite interesting, and we're going to have a listen to it. She was born in Belfast in 1930. McCann, her collection of poetry includes The Flower Maker and the also Venus in the Rain, also on Ballycastle Beach. She's got quite an interesting style. We'll have a listen to her next up in the show. And we've also got another poet shortly coming up after by the name of Joseph Campbell. And Joseph Campbell is well known in Ireland for his work. I Will Go With My Father is one of the pieces we will listen to, written by Joseph Campbell. Great Irish poet, to say the least. Campbell's interest in folklore and music propelled him to write poetry and songs set to music, folk tunes. One of his most famous works, My Lagan Love. The founder, member of the Ulster Literary Theatre, and emigrated to United States in 1925. He introduced Irish studies for the very first time to American education system as a lecturer, and he returned to Wicklow in 1938, where he lived and then died, Joseph Campbell. So his work we will listen to after this one, Four Voices Without an Instrument. And in between, a fellow from Belfast called Jack McCracken. He's got a lovely album, The Spinner, which is, he's now residing in the ICT in Canberra, and he has some interesting work on this album, too many to mention. But I like the one that he's put together, For You. It's almost poetic, and as you're reciting it, it lends an ear to love, the theme. So next up, as I say, we'll have a listen to this, read by one and only Paul Brady. I think it's a mark of respect that Paul has given to this author, Mead McCann. Not many people, would expect Paul Brady to be reciting his their or her works.
Four Voices Without an Instrument. Another March month has come to raise the temperature of the world, a self-opening, clear, in morning, becoming light. The northeast wind reads the quarters of the sky where the moon falls awake into its own mouth till day and night are equal. There is no dust, no deluge. The blue of the city has swollen or returned to itself in its dark ship, the reverberating sea. Even the light, I thought, like a bell in the air, already out of tune through a slight snowfall, would never be allowed its brightness. Yet since we have been a conversation, the 3-in-1 sign of your stained glass voice has become my chosen one, a garden surrounded by other gardens, housing the seasons. Though our lives may have overlapped, the musicians that blew out their candles and left the stage one by one now blow for me a sunburst of winds on their lowest strings. so that not without wings, when the mist vanishes, the brightening endangered earth is the year's first angel.
Steal a heart, shed a tear, bring your body over here. The wine of life, that sweetest sup, you took my cup and filled it up. Yours a fountain, mine a well. Our love was like a carousel. Two children spinning through the air. We found the wonder, lost the care. Still remember, always will. First saw your face, time stood still, and though passion burned on every kiss, there was something more to all of this. For in our time, we soared so high, like painted kites in a cloudless sky, hand in hand, everywhere, the two of us, you're quite a pair. Seasons turn, passions fade, like children's laughter from a penny arcade. The time, the way, the reasons why, girl, you never knew, nor did I. But lose a lover, find a friend. This thread we weave will never end, and a love will grow from the love we found, like a gentle flower on our common ground. Quiet nights and peaceful rest, may time lay still upon your breast. We met before, we'll meet again when the summer's past and the good light wanes. So steal a heart, shed a tear, bring your body over here. You came to me on an angel's wings, so here's the song always said I'd sing for you, for you.
I Will Go With My Father by Joseph Campbell, read by Jimmy McGee. I will go with my father a-ploughing to the green field by the sea, and the rooks and the crows and the seagulls will come flocking after me. I will sing to the patient horses with the lark in the white of the air, and my father will sing the plough song that blesses the cleaving share. I will go with my father a-sowing to the red field by the sea, and the rooks and the gulls and the starlings will come flocking after me. I will sing to the striding sowers with the finch on the flowering sloe, and my father will sing the seed song that only the wise men know. I will go with my father a-reaping to the brown field by the sea, and the geese and the crows and the children will come flocking after me. I will sing to the weary reapers with the wren in the heat of the sun, and my father will sing the scythe song that joys for the harvest done.
Joseph Campbell's piece there, I Will Go With My Father. Next up on the show, we're going to have a listen to a Belfast singer-songwriter by the name of Andy White. He's got a track here called Vision of You from his teenage album. And following that, a renowned poet from Belfast, Padraig Fake, born in 1924 in Belfast, and he emigrated with his family to New York, and then he returned to Belfast in 1946, where he continued to write poetry in Reims, and he also did an edit of the winning of the Black. Then he had some awards that he won with the A.E. Memorial Award, and the Arts Council of Northern Ireland presented him with a Poetry Ireland Award. He still lives in Belfast. Craic Goodbye is the name of the piece we'll have a listen to from Padraig Fake. However, before that, we'll have this piece from Andy White, and it's called Vision of You.
The night is approaching, though some would say it was morning. The cassette clicks, the wind blows through the walls. I was captivated by the ceremony of night. You were rewriting the unwritten laws. We stepped into a doorway. I woke up in a basement. At the lovers' convention, they're professionally bluffing. You know that we visited there last fall. You can write what they say on the wall. You can write the word nothing. It was spring when you left after all. And as the scarlet turned to blue, there was nothing, really nothing that I could do. At 3 a.m. on the rooftop, watching the walls turn blue, haunted by a vision of you. Vision of you. Vision of you. They threw a party to celebrate the procession of our worn-out tradition through the center of time. And all the flags, banners, badges, drums and emblems, yeah, lifted them, they came crashing down like lanterns on a river in summer. A testimony I can always remember. At 4 a.m. in the hallway, watching the walls turn blue, haunted by a vision of you. Vision of you. Vision of you. Woo. She's got an agile smile and a fragile sense of humour. Watch out, or she'd call around. She walked in the room, the ceiling's full, the carpet's blue mat. 6 a.m. in the basement, watching the flowers on your casement, haunted by a vision of you. Vision of you. Vision of you.
Dandering home from work at midnight, they tripped him up on a ramp, asked him if he were a Catholic. A wee bit soft in the head he was, the last person in the world you'd want to hurt. His arms and legs broken, his genitals roasted with a shipyard worker's blow lamp. In all the stories that the Christian brothers tell you of Christ, he never screamed like this. Surely this is not the way to show a manly bearing, screaming for them to please stop, and then, later, like screaming for death. When they made him wash the stab wounds at the sink, they kept on hammering him with the pickaxe handle. Then they pulled Christ's trousers down, threatening to cut off his balls. Poor boy, Christ. For when they finally got round to finishing him off by shooting him in the back of the head, the poor feeble fucker was on
I wrap myself in a bag, I'm all wrapped up in more wrapped up in you. We're all wrapped up in him too. Prepare myself for a war, and I don't know what I'm doing this for. Trying to let it all go. But how can I when you still don't know? Here's to you, your lover. Darling, I got years dressed up for pride. I packed my suit in a bag. All dressed up for pride. I packed my suit in a bag. All dressed up for
Damien Rice there. From the album O and Eskimo. Next up on the programme, I've got a track from Sinead O'Connor. This one is called Mandinka. For your pleasure on Craic with Mac.
I'm dancing with 7 bells, wanting to pick up my star. See how the black moon fades, soon I can give you my heart. I don't know no shame, I feel no pain, I can't see the flame, but I do know Mandinka. I do know Mandinka. I do know They're throwing it all this way, dragging it back to the start. They say, see how the glass is raised. I have refused to take part. I told them bring something new. Please let me pull something through. I don't know no shame, I feel no pain, I can't. I don't know no shame, I feel no pain, I can't see the flame, but I do know Mandinka. I do know Mandinka.
Good afternoon, Peter Mark Malahide. Hazel speaking. How can I help?
Hi, Hazel.
Hi, who's this?
Little Becky.
Becky?
Yep, I want to become a hairdresser. Hazel.
Oh my God. Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Is that Hazel?
No, it's Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Is that Peter Mark?
Yeah, it is.
Is Peter there?
No, he's not here at the moment.
Where's Mark?
He's probably sitting at home or sitting somewhere sunny in a pool.
Are you a hairdresser?
Yeah, I'm actually a trainee at the moment. I'm training to be a hairdresser.
You're exactly the person I want to talk to.
Okay.
I want to become a trainee hairdresser too.
Do you? When do you want to do that? When you get older?
Right now.
Well, you have to be a bit older. You have to be 16 to do it.
I'm ready now.
You're ready now? You have to be a bit older now. You have to be about 16 to do it.
Will I practice my chat on you?
Yes, do.
A hairdresser chat?
Yeah, do. You tell me all about that.
Because it's very important.
Yeah, it is. It's the most important part of it, I think.
Okay, here goes.
Okay.
So you're on the holidays. Are you working at the moment? What do you think of that?
That's very good. Were you practicing that for long?
Yeah, I have more.
Go on then, tell me some more.
Who did your roots last time? They're banjaxed.
I think you might have to be a bit more subtle than that.
Do you go on courses to ask silly questions to customers?
Yeah, we go on courses to train and learn how to cut and do colours and just generally prepare us to become hairdressers.
Do you have to sweep up hair off the floor?
Yeah, you have to sweep all the hair off the floor and put it in the bin, and you have to do all the colour and all things like that.
Do you ever pick the hair up and put it on your head?
No, I wouldn't do that.
98 FM.
The girls here are telling me to tell you they love 98 FM.
Goodie bags.
And send us goodie bags. And we might let you train with us.
Here, can you book me in for a colour?
I can, yeah. How old are you?
8.
You have to be 16 to get your colour done in here, Becky.
I'll do us a favour.
Yeah, I will do. If you come in and see me, I will.
I hope you're not hungover and have the shakes.
No, I'm not. I won't be hungover till Sunday morning.
Okay, Amanda. Bye.
Bye.
From the crowd, not you against St. Peter. I was thinking aloud. Should have packed my bags, headed off for the coast. Had my time already come to meet the heavenly host. They switched on their halos, adjusted their harps, checked that the blades on the pearly gates were sharp. I asked them what they meant about religious bent. They said, that's the test. I said, that's the test I meant. They were given holy orders. I think you'll find I was up against persuasion of the religious kind. You'll find it was Haile Mary's at the drop of a track. Said the 7 deadly sins were staying right on my flat. I pondered on the churches of England and Rome. Hadn't paid the rent for my spiritual home. Needed guidance from the leaders whose names I knew, Archbishop and John Player number 2. I quaked in my sackcloth, threw away my joystick, burned my Quran and said I was agnostic. I mean an atheist. I cried as I moved in for the kill. The walls tumbled down as they handed me the bill. They weren't impressed with my distinctions. I think you'll find that I was up against persuasion of the religious kind. The slaughter, a human sacrifice. I told their spiritual leader his scepter looked nice. A hymn book skinned my ear, but I was only grazed. I died for cover as the sun of Bibles blazed. In the gore I gasped, was there something I said? Then a solid granite altar hit me on the head. A collection plate plunged into my groin. They marched off discussing the battle of the Boyne. As I expired I was thinking they'd been rather unkind, but I was up against persuasion of the religious kind. Bleeding and naked I was somewhat at a loss. The Good Samaritan was out drinking at the sign of the cross. Recalling their question I felt totally alone as I peered out from underneath the tablets of stone. In the gutter lay the crushed remains of a Bible. It proclaimed their grievances were purely tribal. They made me see the light, for that I offer my thanks. I was collared by the dogs, now I've joined their ranks. Armored Christian soldiers, I hope you don't mind being afflicted by religion of the persuasive kind. musician's head stuck in their groin, and the only bell ringing has a graveyard sound. I said someone's gotta stand up or nothing's gonna change till religion is rearranged.
Andy White from Belfast there, Religious Persuasion. Next up on the show is a track I wrote and recorded a few years ago called Rock and Roll Street. And a friend of mine, Robert Hartley, who's now left the area, he's away up north living. He helped me record this in his wee studio there in Cockerbilly Street in Mittagong. So this is Rock and Roll Street with Robert doing the vocals for me on this piece here.
Here I here on Rock and Roll Street. Rock and Roll Street. Living on Rock and Roll Street. Rock and Roll Street.
It's a song I wrote a few years back, Rock and Roll Street, and Robert Harpley there on the main vocals. Next up is a song from Mary Black from her Shine album, and this one you're going to have a listen to next is called Beautiful.
Long, long before I put a face on love, the one thing I knew was that, like anything, love can surprise you. One kiss and you brought me a lifetime. Do you know what that means to me? You give me the answer to whether I bleed. Deep in the darkest night, oh, I wake you to tell you I know that life is so beautiful with you, and time will tell what hurt and what I felt. This open road is long and beautiful. For every minute you need me, I want to need you. In every fear, life is brand new. Oh, deep in the darkest night, oh, I wake you and tell you I know that life is so beautiful with you, and time will tell what hurt and what I felt. This open road is long and beautiful. And time will tell, oh, and time will tell what hurt and what I felt. This is what I felt. This open road, this open road is long and beautiful, and time will tell, oh, and time will tell what hurt and what I felt. This is what I felt. This open road, oh, this open road is long and beautiful, and time will tell.
Good afternoon, Channel 4 View Inquiries.
Hello, my name is Becky.
Hello, Becky.
Hi, I'm Ace.
Good. Glad to hear it. Did you have a question at all, or?
Do you know about Celebrity Big Brother?
I don't watch it myself, but I could probably answer your question. What is it you wanted to know?
How do you get on the show?
You'd have to be a celebrity, mostly. Although there is one contestant this year that isn't a celebrity.
They're not really good, are they?
The celebrities?
Yeah.
You don't like the programme?
No, I love the programme.
But you don't think the celebrities are very good?
I don't like Jodie. I think she's very orange.
Yeah, you're right there.
Who's your favourite?
As I say, I don't really watch it, so I couldn't really say I've got a favourite.
I think I could be a celebrity.
Okay, well, good luck. What are you going to do to be a celebrity?
Can I perform for you now?
Well, I do have other calls to take, I'm afraid, so I must move on. But best of luck with it.
It's very quick. Here I go.
Go on then.
Sean had pigeon, a pigeon, a pigeon. Sean had pigeon, a pigeon, that's right. He flew in the morning and flew in the night. And when he came home he was covered in Sean had pigeon, a pigeon, a pigeon. Sean had pigeon, a pigeon, that's right.
That's very good, and I think you've got a good chance of becoming a celebrity.
Thank you very much.
All right, good luck with that.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
There was an old woman and there was an old man. They lived upon the high road. He once sat as a jockey for his pay, and she was her mother's darling. Oh, and on we go, and on we go. Can you recall the day we married? Oh, on we go, and on we go. Wouldn't you be frightened to die alone? Come a little closer to me, darling. Oh. Come with me, you silly old man, cozy as a codfish show. I've never seen anyone sour as you, at least not after breakfast. Oh, she grabbed the old man by the hand, she led him across a moonlit night. She took him to the public house and filled him full of whiskey. Oh, and on we go, and on we go. Can you recall the day we married? Oh, on we go, and on we go. Wouldn't you be frightened to die alone? Come a little closer to me, darling. Oh. And on the way back home from town, oh, my darling, oh, she pushed him in the water and she held him down. Can you recall the day we married? Oh, and on we go, and on we go. Can you recall the day we married? Oh, on we go, and on we go. Wouldn't you be frightened to die alone? Come a little closer to me, darling, oh. There was an old woman and there was an old man. They lived upon the high road. He once sat as a jockey for his pay, and she was her mother's darling. No, and on we go, and on we go. Can you recall the day we married? Oh, on we go, and on we go. Wouldn't you be frightened to die alone? Come a little closer to me, darling. Oh, come a little closer to me, darling. Oh, come a little closer to me, darling.
Nancy McCann, and on we go. Next up, we've got the Pugs and Irish Rover for your pleasure.
On the 4th of July, 1806, we set sail from the sweet cove of Cork. We were sailing away with a cargo of bricks for the Grand City Hall in New York. 'Twas a wonderful craft, she was rigged fore and aft, and oh how the wild wind drove her. She stood several blasts, she had 27 masts, and they called her the Irish Rover.
We are 1 million
bags of the best lawyer rags. We had 2 million barrels of stone. We had 3 million sides of our blind horses' hides. We had 4 million barrels of bones. We had 5 million hogs, 6 million doves, 7 million barrels of porter. We had 8 million bales of old nanny ghost tales in the hold of the Irish Rover.
There was old Mickey Coot, who played hard on his flute when the ladies lined up for the scent. He would toot with skill for each sparkling quadrille, till the dancers were flutered and bet. With his smart, witty talk, he was cock of the walk, as he rolled the dames under and over. They all knew at a glance when he took up his stance, and he sailed in the Irish Rover.
From the banks of the Lee, there was Hogan from Kelsey to Roll. There was Johnny McGurk, who was scared stiff of work, and a man from Westmeath come along. There was Slugger O'Toole, who was drunk as a rule, and fighting Bell Tracy from Dover. And your man, like McCann, from the banks of the Bann, was a skipper on the Irish Rover. We had sailed 7 years when the measles broke out, and the ship lost its way in the fog. And the whale of a crew was the gist of the two, just myself and the captain's old dog. Then the ship struck a rock, oh Lord, what a shock! The boat it was turned right over, turned 9 times around, and the poor old dog was drowned. And the last of the Irish Rover.
Pugs, and of course Ronnie Drew from the Dubliners and the Irish Rover. Nice version of it. I do think to myself, no, a great wee version of that. I remember years ago listening to it, Christmas it was, I got the record now, that takes me back, and it was playing it at home, and the family came in. They had never heard that version before, and everybody just fell in love with it. You know, it was rocked up a wee bit from the traditional one. Well, now we got about 10 minutes of the show, that's all we got left. And I maybe slip in 2 more songs before I go. And the first of these wee songs I want to play for you this evening is a piece entitled Amber. Now, Amber is from the Afro-Celt, and it's one of those new directions this music is taken. I particularly like what's the sound that I hear. It's gentle enough, and yet it's a new direction, bordering into ambient kind of stuff. I've listened to some of their other material over the years, and they do have a nice collection of alternative music, the Afro-Celt, because they're bringing in some native tribe music from Africa, and they're mixing in with it and the new direction of their Celtic contemporary stuff. So I do think that it's a brave step out there as far as music goes. I don't know what your thoughts about, people experimenting with music and having the ability to create, let's call it pop music, Irish pop music. this album is a nice kind of direction anyway. The very best of sounds often happen from experimentation. So we're going to have a listen now to the piece I was talking about there, Amber, from the Afro-Celt. However, before we do that, I do want to play you this wee song. I wrote it called Have a Cup of Tea, and my mother, she just loves this song. She's no longer with me though, but you know, I still speak of her like she's still here, and that way she's not dead. She's always with me, you know. So she loves this wee song, Have a Cup of Tea, and whenever I would go to the house, you know, she would always say to me, "Hi son, give us that wee song of yours, Have a Cup of Tea." So I'd always take the guitar with me when I was going to visit Mum, and I would play her this wee song, Have a Cup of Tea. So after Have a Cup of Tea, I'm going to end the programme with Amber from the Afro-Celt. So I'm going to say now, good night, God bless, have a great week, and I'm looking forward to your company again next week on the show. Until then, from Craic with Mac, goodbye. See you soon.
He stands at the station and wishes you well. He's got buckets of roses to sell.
Now just hang on. I did say a half a cup of tea. I didn't say buckets of roses. So let's get it right. I did say a half a cup of tea, didn't I? Because Buckets of Roses was another song that I wrote, believe it or not. Now, half a cup of tea. Okay, it's not going to do the half a cup of tea, is it? Let's just have a listen then to the Buckets of Roses, because I can see that the half a cup of tea doesn't want to play. Sorry, Ma. Buckets of Roses, something I wrote a few years ago.
When I've taken all
Okay, now we do have the half a cup of tea.
it never does me any good to find. 'Cause I never cared for fighting, it never cared for me. Still I'd kill for a half a cup of tea. It's just a wee drop in the hand, I hope you understand. There's nothing beats a decent cup of tea. It doesn't take too long, I'll take it weak or strong. We drop in the hands good enough for me. Half a cup or a drop in your hand. The wetter, the better the brew, they say. So if I drop in, not wearing a grin, come on and give me a wee drop of tea. I love my mother's garden, but it really makes me boil to find her only kettles filled up with soil. I would lick a lion's whiskers, I'd suck a honeybee, I would kill for a half a cup of tea. Come on and give me a wee drop of tea. It's just a wee drop in the hand. I hope you understand. There's nothing beats a decent cup of tea. Doesn't take too long. I'll take it a weak or strong. We drop in the hands, good enough for me. We drop in the hands, good enough for me.
Barlum veshkrio Mar geller solace and lay Nave kushis mianto mochri Barlum Veshua Sun verish glay Rain becomes silver Leaves turn to gold Navego